Hey, everybody, this is Alison Lucan. Welcome back to Too Many Men, y'all. We are back. Hockey is almost back in full force, so we can't leave you hanging. We are so excited and happy to be back with you for this full season as part of the Meadowlark and DraftKings family. And so I would be remiss if I didn't introduce the brains behind it all, the creative master, the genius with the vision and the idea and execution to make this show a reality, the tremendous, unparalleled Sara Civian. Sara, how are you today?
I am fantastic. I have the chills. I'm nervous. I'm crying. I'm shaking. I'm throwing up. I'm so happy to be back with you guys.
Boy, that sounds enjoyable.
Yeah, I'm having so much fun.
And of course, we are not too many men without the smartest person when it comes to understanding the cap and the financial workings of the hockey world, the smartest person when it comes to understanding women's hockey at all levels across the world, and the smartest person when it comes to turning analytics into stories you want to read. Never mind, she's the sweetest person you'll ever meet. Shayna Goldman, say hi.
Hi, I feel welcome back. I got to hear your countdown. I got complimented like I'm on cloud nine.
Yes,
nine?
it's
Yes.
9. Correct. Good job. No sweats, no headaches. No, you're good. We
I'm
all
here.
experience joy in different ways. Okay, awesome. Well, as I said, we are so happy to be back for another season. We've got some updates, some things we want to share. And the first thing, y'all saw the news. Sara Civian is moving on to a new and exciting phase in her life. Sara, what has been going on for you?
A lot. Obviously, I left the athletic and I'm now doing a few things with the main focus on this podcast because I truly believe in it and I love it and I love you all. And I am contributing to Bleacher Report, and there might be a few surprises along the way, but I am really excited about kind of the vision Bleacher Report Open Ice has. They are letting me do my thing. When I thought about the why I left the athletic thing and why I wanted it to be like a YouTube thing where it would be like I'd get so many clicks and views when we talk about it just because I want the podcast to get all those views, baby, off my misery. But no, I don't even really know what to say. You know, I feel like creative differences is the best way to put it. I saw a quote the other day that says, go not just where you're tolerated, but where you're wanted. And it reminded me of a few people I've had conversations with at Meadowlark here, where they kind of want more of me. I remember a conversation I had with somebody at the Athletic a few years ago. I don't think he understood how much it affected me, but he said about my Twitter presence that I'm up here and I need to be like right here. And I don't know how to do that. I'm either going to be at the ground or on like hanging off the ceiling because I'm very excited. And the more I've learned about myself and started to trust myself and my convictions and things in this life, I've realized that it's okay to be who I am. I can be up there if I want to. And there are people that believe in that and want that and not just tolerate it in spite of it. They want that about me. And I need to be able to say what I want about politics. I just want to say that too. So there's a few, I feel way more, it's been back and forth for a few months where it's kind of, oh, should I take this leap and believe in myself? But I've had a few conversations with people that I look up to in this industry and everything. And I think I made the right choice.
I mean, I think you made the right choice. And I mean, I've said this on Twitter. I'll say this 20 times to Sunday. Like, if you're not reading Sara, if you haven't read Sara, you're missing out on one of the freshest and most creative voices that there is in writing, period, let alone in hockey. And every time I read your stuff, I'm entertained. I'm touched in some sort of emotional way, whether it's humor or serious. And then you always like have this little, it's perfect. Like you sneak in, I'm like, well, shit, I just learned like 5 new things. So I think anyone who is lucky enough to keep you on their team should be very, very thankful. And I'm just thrilled that we get to keep seeing your work. Shayna, I know you agree with me.
Absolutely. More Sara work all day, every day. You know, you're one of my favorite writers around. I don't just say it because we're friends and we're on the podcast, but it's like the perfect blend. Like Alison said, like there's humor in it, but you're learning something and you have a great perspective of how you look at the game and you catch things. And it's so interesting for the two of us to like, we do the live game watches and we're looking at it one way because we're such nerds. And I love, you know, you have a completely different perspective and you bring something and we both look at it and go, that's a really good way to think about it. So I think anytime someone makes you think like that, it's a good thing. And there's so much creativity. So, you know, you're bigger than one place, you're bigger than one platform, and you're going to crush it wherever you go, whatever you do. And you have your two biggest cheerleaders right here. So we're thrilled for you with whatever you do.
And don't forget, this is the woman who literally said to us during the game watch, no one cares about zone entries. But Sara, I did put this on Twitter yesterday too, because I was thinking about this and I was like, please, Sara, breaking news here. Well, it's already on Twitter, but breaking news here. One of your most innovative ideas, something you started, you created. Please tell us that the NHL style ranking, well, the hockey, I should say, style rankings will continue under your byline.
They're not just continuing. It was one of the main things we wanted to do at Bleacher Report, and we want to expand it. And they have kind of the means to get players in on it and have it be like this fun TikTok thing, which I also like. I'm kind of making that up as I go. I have a lot of ideas that they want to hear me out on about it. And it's like, I think I needed this opportunity for myself to kind of force myself to sink or swim so I can actually give my fight. Like I'm not going to mail anything in. And I love where we're going with the style rankings already. So stay tuned for that.
Amazing. Shayna, in the segment I'm suddenly calling How Was Your Summer? What have you been up to?
You know, writing things. I worked a lot this summer. I didn't distribute my time as well as I would have, could have, or should have. But what is new? I am not writing at Sportsnet this season. My contract's up there, but I did love doing it. And I'm still writing at The Athletic. And hopefully I'll be doing a bunch of different things. And I'm keeping up with my fantasy column because we love fantasy trends and hidden gems.
Because why? Wait a minute. Because we have an award. What's this?
We do have an award.
What is that award? What is your award?
Fantasy Hockey Writer of the Year, I think.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. And, you know,
that's you. That's we're in the presence of her. Her.
She.
Her.
It's me.
It's you.
And now, you know, I dyed my hair a bunch of times. I've crafted a bunch of shit, things like that. I've taken apart my whole closet, ripped apart all my clothes and re-put them back together and looking new. So, you know, we're just doing things over here. I'll take a break eventually.
You let us know when that happens. We'll be happy to hear.
I'm gonna take a real vacation and I'm going to do this crazy thing called decorating a brand new house that I bought. So that's what I'll be doing.
Awesome.
She's on the record with that. And Alison, where in the world are you?
Well, I'm actually in the past. You guys are in the future. I'm in the past. I'm behind you now because I'm in Pacific time all the time. I'm out in Seattle working full time with the Kraken this year. So that will be exciting. We'll see where we go. Can't wait. Back to your point, Sara, that as much as I was about to tease you for like being in a Hallmark store, that saying resonated with me too. It's great to be somewhere where you're appreciated and not just tolerated, and it makes all the difference. So very, very much continued love to my Seattle Kraken and Root sports families for keeping me around for one more year.
Please, you are like
amazing.
How could they not?
Well, yeah. You never know.
And we selfishly love that you're on Pacific time, because how many times, Alison, were you getting up at like 5 a.m. and you'd respond to a group chat that you fell asleep to and like, we're still up?
It always, I must say, it was always a joy, because I'd wake up sometimes and like there'd be like 40 texts and I was like, wow, this is a journey. This is a journey. But no, yes, we are now actually probably all on the same time zone for once. It's a nice little change. Well, we had eventful summers, and even though summer is almost over, there is some other
actually over.
Well, I mean, hockey is happening and it is September and school's in session.
No, I mean, like it's September 21st.
Tomorrow.
It's over, right?
It's past the summer solstice, is it not? Yes.
Does the summer end the 20th and the 21st is officially fall, or does summer end on the 21st?
Shayna, I don't know.
We were debating this yesterday, so like I figured you would know.
It's fall.
Okay.
Sara,
it's fall. It's pumpkin spice season officially.
There, that's the true.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. So it is fall. Anyway. People who are having a good fall include Nathan MacKinnon, who just signed. Now, the numbers are great. Shayna, we're going to have you break down the nuance of these numbers. It is a contract extension that begins next season for 8 years, 100.8 million, 12.6 million cap hit every year. Shayna, those numbers make Nathan MacKinnon the highest paid player AAV wise, if I'm not mistaken, in the league when this extension kicks in. But there's also a little bit of hidden meaning to that. Talk us through what happened.
Nathan MacKinnon is 2-0 in the Mick matchup in the last couple months. First, he kicked the crap out of the Oilers and knocked Connor McDavid out of the postseason. We knew he could do it. We knew Nate could do it. We were trying to get Connor to do it, and Connor fell short to MacKinnon. You know, he won a Stanley Cup, had a couple carbs, and now he's making $100,000 more on average a year. And I love it. He's still underpaid because I think it's based on 2021-22 salaries, if I remember right, the average salary for an elite first line center. So you have to be at that level. This isn't just any first line center, and it doesn't include entry level deals. It was like 9.5 million, but the actual market value was closer to 13.5. And MacKinnon is outright an elite center, one of the best players in the league. So he's underpaid, but he's getting his signing bonuses. So that's like a nice benefit.
If anyone would like to underpay me at those numbers, I will happily.
Yeah.
Do you
sign
even
your
notice?
contract.
Like, do you notice if someone goes, I'll pay you 11 million versus 13 at that point? Like,
Who's to
Sure.
say?
who cares?
Sarah, we did do a game watch during the Stanley Cup final. I know all three of us watched through the playoffs. Your take on this deal?
I just love that he's beating out noted villain Connor McDavid by like $100,000.
Exactly.
Just
exactly.
enough.
We're here for
And
it.
I'm sure that's not crossing his mind at all, but he's like the Robin Hood right now to me.
I mean,
We'll get
come
into
on.
Connor McDavid later in the episode, but
Are you being serious? Do you think it really didn't cross his mind? I think it did.
I hope it did.
I hope it did. I hope it did.
Exactly. All right. Well, continuing on, we're now into Sarah's favorite. We need a sound noise here. And we must pause and acknowledge we have a wonderful producer on board who's going to help this show just go to the next level. Jeremy Taché, who we love to say his name. We need a little sound here, a little sound to go with Sarah's favorite segment, which is
Bit of news. Da-na-na, da-na-na, or like Irish step dancing.
the first bit of news actually comes from the Seattle Kraken organization. Something that I think there are a few times when all of hockey Twitter rises up in total agreement and celebration. And this was one of those times where Alexandra Mandrecki, who was actually one of the very first employees hired by the Seattle Kraken, even before they had a GM, even before they had a coach, even before they had a single player, has officially been promoted to assistant general manager. She is the 6th woman to take on that title in the NHL. This woman has been a mentor, a role model to me since I first met her many moons ago at the Rochester Hockey Analytics Conference. And we went to the very first NWHL game ever in history in Buffalo together. But she is just a shining star. She does so many things right. She is so invested in doing her work to the best of her ability, building the best team of people for her. I could not say enough good things. Sarah, when you heard this news, I know our little chat group went crazy. What were your thoughts when we saw Alex finally got a title that she deserves?
I think her statement said a lot about how the Kraken kind of value the right people. I don't know, like she is going where she's wanted, which is a big theme. I was expecting less than 6 women to be in the AGM position. So I was like, wow, we're kind of slowly but surely coming a long way. She's deserved this forever. She is a genius, but she's also a great person in general. I think she's the perfect person for a role like this. You know what I mean? I'm excited to see what she's going to do with this.
Shayna?
I think this is great. Like this has been a great summer for women in front offices, and it's about damn time. And you always see those comments like, how is this person qualified? Well, if she actually deserves the job, and this is someone who wholeheartedly deserves the job. And I think today the theme is being where you're valued and where you're appreciated. And it's nice to see how much she is in Seattle, but it's a big thing from a data perspective to have someone with this, perspective I said perspective twice. I mean, I should know more words right now. Anyway, I'm sorry. but it's good to have like a data driven, someone with that innovative, line of thinking in a front office, and not just be in the analytics department, but to have a seat at the table. It's something that each time I've talked to people who work in front offices, they say that's the next step, because when you have someone at that assistant general manager level, it's a big moment for anyone who works in data, really, because your opinion's being heard. It's a part of the whole process, and that'll trickle down the whole organization. So she joins a handful of others like Josh Flynn in Columbus and Eric Tulsky in Carolina, Chris Snow in Calgary. Like, it's becoming more prevalent in hockey, and hockey's obviously, behind the other sports, but it's a big step. So, it's trending up. The chart keeps growing, and we love that.
And I would actually recommend to my friends here in Seattle, they run a show called Sound of Hockey, and they had an interview with her, and it's really honestly one of the best ones I've heard, particularly her ability. Shayna, you talk about using data, and I think we're past the biggest debates about, watch the game nerd stuff, but Alex's ability to express the role of data with every other kind of information, and the way that her team and the front office in Seattle thinks about using data as part of the puzzle is one of the most informative conversations I think I've ever heard, and so eloquently explains how teams are trying to use data. It's not this us or them mentality. So Sound of Hockey interview with Alex Mindrecki, I would highly recommend checking that out.
Can I say something?
Yes, you can.
It's in my podcast. I think every woman in analytics that I know is absolutely brilliant, because they don't try to sound smart, and they just are naturally brilliant. And part of being smart is being able to communicate and convey something. And I feel like that's just like so represented in hockey with women in analytics, where it's like they all have that one thing about them. Like, yes, they are analytics geniuses behind the scenes when it just pertains to them coding and their base. I don't know how that goes down, but they can also explain it to the public and are willing to do so. And I feel like that is such an invaluable trait. And I just see it so much with women in analytics. So hats off to you guys, you gals.
Hooray, hooray, hooray. We also have some other good news involving women in hockey. And on Wednesday, some very important news broke regarding Saroya Tinker, who, Shayna, you, as I mentioned at our open, you're my go-to for women's hockey at all level, anywhere, anything that's happening. You're so in touch with the resources, the right people covering the actual play, the players, the games. Talk us through what happened with Saroya today and what it really has to do with not just her beyond the ice, but also the significance in the space of women's hockey.
So today it was announced that Saroya Tinker is partnering up with Sherwood, and it's the first deal of its kind for Sherwood. They've never worked with a PHF player, and they've never worked with a player who's, a non-national team player. So it's exciting to see, because we know the Hillary Knights of the world and, the Brianna Deckers are going to get these big time deals, as they absolutely should. But to see it, trickle down now to the leagues, to the PHF, it's a big deal. And, it's breaking a barrier in women's hockey. And if anybody's going to do that, Saroya Tinker, who does so much for the whole hockey community. It's not just women's hockey, and, making it more inclusive and a more welcoming space. So, if they're going to make this deal with anybody to kick it off, I think she's the absolute perfect person for it.
Sherwood's awesome. They sent me a lot of stuff, I think last year, and they sent it with a letter just about how hockey culture needs to change. And it wasn't BS. It was like a whole novel about kind of how we need to be the ones to usher in change. And I love that they're putting their money where their mouth is with this. And Saroya is just an amazing personality. She's hilarious and the perfect person for this.
Hey, Sherwood, send Shayna and I your stuff
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, we'll take it. Everyone send
I was
us your
shocked.
shit.
They sent me like sticks.
Oh, that's
I
right.
never know
that's
what to
right,
do
that's
in
right.
that situation.
yeah.
I'm like, should I post this? Do I?
I just give my dogs things. I'm like, here. Like when we got the Bud Light, I'm like, here, dog, you pose with the picture. I'm not
Shayna,
Light.
perhaps that's why you're not getting any more promotional materials.
I know. That's an insult. That is an insult to my dogs. They deserve to be in the
Well,
picture.
I'm just saying, like,
better than me.
the visuals may be better, but like just saying, like, I give the things I received to my
I don't
dogs
give them to I lend them to my dogs for a picture, and then I sit down and crack a nice cold Bud latte with my dogs and have a great night.
Fantastic. All right, our last bit o news. Kyle Beach is a name that has been in the news for some really shitty stuff that he had no sense deserving and shouldn't have had to be a part of, had some good news come down the way a little bit ago. And Sara, tell us what Kyle Beach is going to be doing in hockey and your thoughts on it.
Yeah, hold on one second, everybody. We're going to pause here and resume because I don't have the Google Doc up.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. That's on me. All right, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, per Rick Westhead, Kyle Beach will be an assistant coach this season with Trinity Western University's men's team in Langley, British Columbia. So it's awesome to see him. He doesn't have hockey shit, you know what I mean? But he is going to be such a good coach. And I love that he's doing this, and that he's going to teach these guys lessons that they have never learned before in this insulated bubble. And there's nobody better to do it. He doesn't owe us anything, but I'm so glad to see that.
Yeah, for sure. And I hadn't even really connected that dot till you said it, Sara, but when we talk about hockey culture needing to change, if this is the man who's coaching these players, like, that's so important beyond anything they learn about how to shoot a puck or how to hold a stick or anything like that. And that's huge. That's huge, 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 huge. My friends, unfortunately, it is rarely a Too Many Men episode when we don't have a shit list. And this week, we start off the season with a team that seemingly, to quote Shayna in our group chat, said, may actually be vying for the most hated team in the NHL. We're not exactly sure. But the Edmonton Oilers are coming off just a banner week here, my friends. I don't even know where to start. Let's go chronologically, and let's start with Connor McDavid, who was in Vegas, not on the island, in Vegas for the NHLPA media tour. And when asked, this is per Josh Clipperton on Hockey Canada's scandal-filled summer, his quote was, again, per Josh Clipperton, quote, "I'm very proud to be Canadian, very proud to represent Hockey Canada. Obviously a situation that is terrible for everybody." Sara?
I can't wait till I one day meet Connor McDavid and he's just like, fuck you. From day one.
You tried. Last year you tried.
I tried so
You
hard.
rooted for him so much.
Yes, you did.
We're
And this
all
is how he
rooting for
repays
you.
you.
America's team strikes again. Yeah, it's so disappointing. And other people have put this more eloquently than maybe I will right now. But to paraphrase a lot of them on Twitter I've seen for the past week or so, he's had every opportunity to say the right thing. It's not that he's always saying like something that's egregiously wrong, but he's had so many opportunities because the Oilers are a dumpster fire and Hockey Canada's a dumpster fire to comment in a way that would be a leadership role in hockey. You know what I mean? It's very clear that he doesn't want to do that. Like you see LeBron James, you see Colin Kaepernick, obviously all these people have in common. They're not in an insulated society. More on that later. But Connor McDavid, the NHL is never going to be the number one sport because they don't take stands. They don't care. I think if it was important to him, he would take a stand, and his silence and what he says is very disappointingly loud every time. It hurts me every time. I think I can expect it by now, but I still just wish he would be a little bit better or try to understand a little bit more.
And Shayna, maybe you two can, if our listeners aren't familiar with the whole Hockey Canada scandal, well, first of all, please do follow the work of Rick Westhead and Katie Strang, who have been doing tremendous work covering these stories and making sure these stories get covered even before the rest of the media picks them up. Shayna, maybe you can give a brief summary of what Hockey Canada is dealing with, how they've responded, and then share your thoughts on this situation.
So what started as one year's team, one juniors team having this massive scandal, the more that comes out and is investigated into it, the more that comes out about more scandals. And, it goes from juniors teams to this last decade to ones years ago. Then it turns out that there's been a shit ton of them that they knew about or didn't know about. They don't have exact numbers because they don't keep track, because I don't know, are there so many, or they don't care? Every way that you, like, if someone were to write a book and say, this is how not to handle it, anything else you do is fine, they would like check the box every single which way. So while I understand you might be proud to put on Hockey Canada's jersey because your mind goes to like good things right now, there are not many good things for many people following it. So it's either Connor McDavid knows how to be bland or bad, and there's no in between. And the streak that he's on is like mind blowing, because you go back to the Evander Kane comments and you go, well, he was in a bad position. If he said something bad about his teammate, you know, it's awkward for him. Okay, sure, move on. Then you go into him probably sleeping on his heated driveway for a week, and you know, because of that whole thing, and he blew up the secret spot then NHLers love to go, you know, go party and go do whatever in Austin. He blew up that spot, so now everyone's, you know, hates him for that as well. And now you just have shitty comment after shitty comment. Like, I think Cale Makar had a perfect response too, and you look at it and you go, that's a young up and coming player who gets it. And not for nothing, like, as much as we know he's one of the greatest players in the world right now, like, he doesn't have that same safety net as Connor McDavid yet, you know?
What was I'm sorry, I missed that, Shayna. What was it?
I pulled it up right now because I wanted to bring it up too. A plus, Shayna. One of the most telling things that has come out, and there's probably still so much stuff that has not come out, but that has come out about the Hockey Canada various scandals, is that there is the use of a national equity fund, which parents pay for and is maintained by registration fees by parents to settle uninsured liabilities, including sexual assaults, of which there are many. And Cale Makar had a statement that didn't want me to make me gouge my eyes and ears out. He said, my parents talk about all the fees that they paid Hockey Canada and yada, yada for me to be able to play. And then for all of this stuff that came out, I can only imagine the amount of parents that were thinking, oh, this is where my fees are going. It's obviously a very tough look. The identity and the culture definitely needs to be changed. It's just that time. He didn't even say anything where I'm like blown away thinking this guy is like a changer of life, but it still means a lot. That's all Connor would have to do, and he's not doing it.
Yep.
Wow.
The bar is on the floor.
If we didn't already stand Cale Makar, I mean, my goodness
He's
gracious.
The best.
Cale Makar, face of the NHL, knocks out Connor McDavid. It's been decided. MacKinnon and Makar reign supreme.
The content of the comments is obviously beyond, but I think what's frustrating the most is what you said, Sara, which is that this is a guy who listen, as he should, Connor McDavid knows his stature in the hockey space. And he knows that people look up to him and that he is a role model and that his face is on, you know, NHL, whatever video game and this and that and the other thing. It's easy. It would be easier for him to say something challenging than for someone for even a Kyle Beach, or maybe I'm sure, unfortunately, there are players in this NHL right now who have been party to awful things. And when you don't see the stars of your league stand up and say, hey, we're going to say that things that happen that aren't right are not right, it's just going to perpetuate. And that's what frustrates me the most, is that when you have the opportunity to be bold and to make things better, when you waste the opportunity, that's just what's so frustrating to me about it. But if we weren't already there with Edmonton, then they decided to sign Jake Virtanen to a PTO. So just a little background for those of you who may not remember, Virtanen was with the Canucks, and he has been out of the NHL since May of 2021 following sexual assault allegations. The Canucks bought out his contract that season, and while he has, and we want to be very clear, received a not guilty verdict, a civil suit is still ongoing. And of course, we need to remember, we've talked about this on the show, that when we talk about sexual assault, this is one of the crimes that is hardest to get a true ruling on and to find punishment when a crime has been committed. So a not guilty verdict does not explicitly clear Virtanen. He was in the KHL last season. He had 9 goals and 16 points in 36 games. And when asked about the signing, the Oilers general manager, Ken Holland, said, quote, "You've got to believe in the legal system. The jury found him not guilty, but I have to sort out the moral issue in my own mind over the next 2 weeks." Shayna, is this a player that is so essential that you do take a risk on him with this kind of history? history? And even if it is, what does this say to you about the actions of the Oilers signing this player?
It's not. The Oilers, just by doing this, they don't even need to sign him to a contract. Got worse as on the ice and as humans. That's it. And the fact that he's going, I have to sort this out for 2 weeks. You didn't have to fucking do it. No one said to you, sign Jake Virtanen to a fucking PTO. There are thousands of people in this world who can play hockey. And there are so many who can play at an NHL caliber, whether they're in the AHL right now, they're free agents, or you could trade for a depth player or get one off waivers. You did not have to do this. You made a decision because you want to give a player some fucking redemption arc that they haven't deserved, which you have to earn. He did not do that. And now you have to sort it out. Don't fucking do it. This is not hard. It blows my mind. Like when teams are willing to do it, especially for shitty players. This is not someone who's a good hockey player that you should want on your team. He wasn't even good in the KHL. But yes, do that. Do that. And piss off fans, piss off people in the hockey world, piss off people on your team possibly. And I know no one's going to step up and say anything because that's now not how hockey works. But that doesn't mean that everyone should condone it. And it's unsurprising coming from this team of all teams. Like, that's just it. Like, we get it. You don't care. We got it, Edmonton. Like, you don't give a shit at all. But like, it's just unnecessary. If they wanted to say this is one of the greatest players in the world and we're going to help them and rehabilitate them and whatever and give them a second chance because they earned it, I guess it's a different conversation. And even that, there's hurdles that you have to get to. But now to put your morals up in the air for a player who sucks, let's just call it like it is. He sucks. He had one good season where he scored some goals. Congratulations. It wasn't even sustainable then. Everybody knew it then at the time, but had fun with it before they knew he wasn't a good person. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, this league sucks. The Oilers, they have to be building up really shitty karma. Like, I personally don't understand. Like, I don't think an aura cleansing is going to fix it. I think it's just they need a complete fresh start because clearly they don't know how to be good humans and build a good hockey team at the same time. Right now, they're doing the opposite of both.
Sarah?
Yeah, I have a few comments on this situation. First of all, I thought Holland's statement about sorting out the moral issue for 2 weeks was hilarious. It takes me a month to figure out what color I want to dye my hair, and I still haven't figured out if I want to go dark for the fall or stay blonde. And it's taking him 2 weeks to rationalize sexual assault. Like, I don't, it's like I don't even know how you say that. Like, I don't know how
he'll be so blinded by his good play that all of a sudden everything else is gone and then the moral scale is tipped. Like, what?
He has to sort it out, the moral issue in his mind. What's he going to do? And that's going to take time away from the actual good players at training camp he's trying to look at. So congrats. But I try so hard because it seems like you're so right, Shayna, when you said kind of all these players that aren't even that good that get these opportunities. I'm like, I try so hard to rack my brain to figure out why that is. And I think I thought a lot about it with the Tony DeAngelo situation, obviously. And Tony DeAngelo situation on paper worked out for the Hurricanes because they got to $1 million, one of the best value players on ice in the league. And then they get to flush it out and now everybody's their fan again. I think it does have to do with hockey culture. I mean, fucking obviously, but where it's like, oh, this man messed up and now like, oh, he's going to take one for the team and he's going to give it his all. And it's an underdog story where it's like, he's going to work hard and be one with the team. And we say we, not I, and press conferences and things like that. I think they love a rehabilitation story, especially when the player is bad. Because it's like, oh my God, if they could be the ones to turn it around, like, hey, we're going to make everybody forget that you ever sexually assaulted anyone. Allegedly. Like, it's so messed up and it's embedded in white supremacy. I am not, so there's a connection somewhere that I'm still looking for, but I'll find it by the end of the season.
You'll find it. You take 2 weeks to find it.
Yeah.
Contemplate it at the same time. See who can come to an answer quicker. Come on.
Give me 2 weeks.
If you can figure it out in 2 weeks, you can be an NHL general manager.
Yeah.
You can manage the Oilers.
When we get the that's when we know Sarah fired up. Oh,
I'm done with this team, and we're not even done.
I know, I was gonna
This is
say,
point
we
number
still have
3.
more.
We have
In the
another
hat
Stugotz
But
trick,
wait, there's more.
Wait, and the best
we
is,
have a,
who does this one involve now? Where are we going? What team are we going to?
no, I had said we're going for the hat trick. That's
Oh,
why
okay,
we're
sorry.
going for, yes. See, 3, 1, 2,
3.
3. So today, well, excuse me, the actual settlement was announced yesterday, I believe, Tuesday, if I'm not correct. Time is a flat circle. I don't know. It's hockey season. I only know game day, non-game day. That's where we're at. But Evander Kane did have a judgment come out in terms of his settlement with the Sharks, because again, they terminated his contract. He signed a new deal with the Edmonton Oilers last season. And so there were some legalities around the contract termination that needed to be sorted out by the league and from the league's perspective. The judgment came down, I don't know, it retroactively was effective. Shayna understands it better than Sara and I do. But Evander Kane addressed the media today in reference to the settlement and said, quote, this is from ESPN, quote, "I'm happy it's over and done with. I don't want to get into it too much. It'll probably be in the Netflix doc when I'm done." End quote, parentheses, laughs.
Oh, I added that.
Oh,
Just
Sara
to be clear,
laughs.
the
Just to
way
be clear.
he looked, everybody needs to watch that video. The way he looked when he laughed just made me sick to my stomach.
Oh, yeah, it was not. So Shayna, can you first and foremost, because again, seriously, this is one of your million specialties. Can you walk us through why the settlement was necessary, what it actually means and doesn't mean, and then share your thoughts on these comments?
So the Sharks said that Kane breached his contract when he broke COVID protocols, and this was the NHLPA filing a grievance on his behalf. He was owed a lot of his contract. He had, I think, 3 years remaining at $7 million in cap space. So that was something that was going on that, if I remember right, could have affected him signing with another team. And then they pushed it off and allowed him to sign another contract. His contract was breached, but this settlement still important for him. And so he can do his salary, because we all know that some players need it more than others, because when you do bad things, I'm sure bills pile up constantly. So I just think that the Oilers need to not, and that's it. Like, just enough. I've had enough of you. I'm done with you for the season. You can call me, any Oiler fans listening right now, call me biased journalist. I don't give a shit the entire year. As it stands, I fucking hate your team, and it's going to take me so much to not. And I can see I'm an adult and I can talk about the on-ice stuff without, pumping Kane's tires if he does something good, because you can separate the two. But just know, from a moral standpoint, I don't need 2 weeks to figure this out. I fucking dislike everything about your team and everything that they've done. And Evander Kane needs to shut the fuck up instead of rubbing it in everyone's faces,
Right.
because it's absolutely disgusting. And anybody that's sitting there, just like, and going, oh, but it's funny. Oh, he made a joke. Sure, he made a joke, but like, this is a serious thing that he clearly doesn't take seriously. And he's had shit go on his entire career. And so much of the root of the problem is just his personality. And that just continues here. So I've had enough. I don't want another microphone in front of him the rest of the year. I don't want to know what he says. I don't want to know anything about him. I will watch play on the ice, because that's all that matters from my standpoint, because the moral ground is gone and nothing's changing that. Even if you adopt 3,000 puppies, it's not enough where they are right now.
Literally, it's just like, with that, it is what it is, right? The thing's settled. I appreciate him facing the media and facing the questions, and what's done is done. So, okay, fair. But the way he made that joke, and I'm not one to not be okay with jokes about certain things, right? Like, okay, haha, funny. If he showed any remorse about, even if he actually didn't do any of the things that he has done, right? And he has cleared his name. It's still not funny that these things happen to certain people. And he did fake a vaccination card and put people in danger, and his team, whatever, whatever. I don't think we're joking about it yet. It's far too soon. I don't remember an apology. So we're already moving on to the jokes. I just don't. The look on his face when he laughed was like evil to me. I'm just like, you
Can I
are
add-
not sorry.
too. Like, now that this is settled and he has his money and he got his big salary from the Oilers that they had to give him, even if he wants to sit there and say he didn't do anything, now's the time to try to donate money, maybe to a COVID foundation for people who maybe lost loved ones or dealing with medical care that they have to pay with. You have a lot of money, maybe put it there instead of another way that you might lose it. Maybe donate to a women's shelter.
Literally.
Maybe do anything, try, just like, it's not hard, or hire better people who will try it for you, because I don't know if it's going to actually come from him, but like, it's so disappointing.
The free PR we do for all of these teams, and they can't even do it. Like,
We tried.
yeah.
Edmonton, we really did try. And yet here we are. All right, my friends, let's bring a little palate cleanser to this episode. We end every episode with our favorite game, Fuck, Marry, Kill. And this week, this back to the season episode, we missed the memo that yesterday was National Defenseman Retire from the NHL Day. But 3 significant players did announce their retirement. Keith Yandle, PK Subban, and Zdeno Chara, all mainstay names in this league for a long, long time, have all announced that their NHL careers are done. And so literally in celebration of 3 outstanding campaigns, we're going to fuck, marry, kill them. So Sara, you get to go first. I know where your heart's going to start. I'm pretty sure. Fuck, marry, kill, Chara, Subban, Yandle.
Who would you rather fuck? I'm just sorry. I'm going to marry Zdeno Chara, obviously. I grew up watching him. I now feel old that he's retiring, but whatever, it is what it is. The more I was thinking about his career yesterday, it does feel like he retired to me when he left the Bruins, because I wish he just retired. That he did sign the one-day contract, whatever. He was able to transcend several decades of kind of differences in hockey and changes. And he had the Chara bomb where he could do that on the power play. He had the hardest shot ever, and that he made it count. And he also was so like inquisitive of the younger players, of what they do to stay in shape, what the next move is, so that he could stay with it. And I just have so much respect for him. I know that he is notorious for kind of coaching that locker room, if you will. And he refused to call rookies. He called them first-year players, because he didn't want anybody disrespected in the locker room. He's such a gentle giant. He had the pigeons that he would feed outside of the practice arena. And he has a great Instagram account if anybody wants to look. But he's just such a kind, unique soul, and such a legend that could play in so many versatile styles. And God, I love him. I'll marry him. I'm going to fuck Keith Yandle, because I think he could last for a long time. He's an Iron Man. Does that, I'm sorry. I hate that I'm going to kill PK Subban. PK, I'm going to kill you because you're a fashion killer.
Okay.
And that's
We'll
word to
take
ASAP Rocky. All right, moving on.
Shayna, your turn.
Okay, I am going to marry Subban. His career, his time in Montreal, I think so much got focused on, the wrong things, and he was a vibrant personality in their room, and he was exciting to watch, and his caliber play was incredible. He was such a good player, and on a team that was not very good. It was him and Carey Price at times, it's like the best players on that team. And I think of games where you would see him play 25 plus minutes and just be working his ass off. And those first couple of years in Nashville, he was really good too. And, obviously things kind of changed and injuries weighed down his games, and, it didn't go as well at the end. But I appreciated watching him. He was someone, he was one of my first hockey jerseys, actually, because I had like from all different teams. I had a Canadian Subban jersey. It was like one of the first ones I got. I loved watching him. So I will marry that. I will fuck Chara, because he lasted through different styles of play and decades of play, and I think it's so interesting. What is the face?
Nothing. Go ahead.
He's a shutdown defenseman that in a way was one dimensional, but he was someone that until the very end really wasn't dragging down pairs with his style like you see others around the league. And it was always interesting watching him, and here's someone with the height and the reach. It was always exciting to watch him. And then of course he has the bomb of a slap shot. So, always appreciated that. I am so surprised how it ended for him, because I thought the Islanders would kind of like extend his career in the Barry Trotz system, and it didn't work out, which is so unfortunate. And I will kill Yandel. He was so good in Arizona, and it kind of felt like it went south from there. His usage in New York was something else. So that's what I will go with for that.
Okay, so I will actually marry Keith Yandel, because Keith Yandel has seen some shit and he put up with it.
He went to prep school with my brother. That says enough.
So that makes him a good candidate for marriage. If he's willing to put up with a lot of shit, we'll particularly if it was someone that was going to have to marry me, that poor person would have some patience and some tolerance for a lot. So I will marry Yandel. I will, this is hard. Sarah, I'm so sorry. I will fuck Subban just because I think he'd be fun. I think he's fun. I like that he allowed his personality to shine through. I like, the things he did off the ice. I mean, I think everyone in the world saw or should have seen the Christmas video where he goes to the children's hospital. So I think he just, again, he was pushing style boundaries. He was doing different things. So I think it'd just be fun. I don't know if I could put up with that 24/7, but we'll fuck him. And then by default, only by default, I have to kill Chara, but I do love him anyway. So
this is tough. 3 beloved guys in the league.
I know. Well, that is our episode for the week. As we mentioned at the top, we are so excited to be back as part of the Meadowlark family. Sara, maybe you could just share with our listeners real quick, just some of what we want to accomplish this season, what we're looking to do. And this show, our hopes are that we're only going to get better and better and better for you for sticking with us all this time.
Yeah, we are so excited and thankful for Meadowlark for kind of keeping this going, and we want to be back and better than ever. I'm going to fix my audio issues and stop looking like the Blair Witch Project over here. I have more time to dedicate to this and the planning and hearing you guys out now. And I did that on purpose. Like it means a lot to me. I want to invest in this, and I want this to be a community of people like us, you know what I mean, who watch hockey and kind of look at the bullshit. And it's hard to watch hockey sometimes with all this stuff going on, but it is a sport we all love at the crux of it. And I want to have more discussions with you guys. We want to be a safe space for you and a fun space for you. And we're going to work on a few things that will try to encapsulate that, try to just be better. I don't know. What do you guys want to do? What are your goals for the year?
Wow, goals? We're setting goals?
I want to talk shit and watch hockey.
Exactly. The goal stays the same. I might try a little harder.
We have to come up. My goal is for Too Many Men to have an official drink.
Okay.
We discussed this. We need that, and we have to figure that out. We have to really brainstorm it.
Okay. Well,
I want more meetups and live things and interaction with y'all.
And listen, listeners, if there's something you want, like Sara said, let us know. Which, speaking of which, you can find all of us as individuals on Twitter, but you can follow this show on Twitter at 2_much_man. We have links there in our bio to where you can find the show and where you can buy our merch, which is very cool. Fall is coming. Get your sweatshirt if you don't already have one, or a delightful beverage container of your choice. Please check out our website as well, toomanymenpodcast.com. Until next time, my friends, again, thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for listening to our craziness. Thank you for being great friends and supporters, even through the interwebs. Until we talk again next time, be nothing but good to one another. And hockey's a coming, friends. Here we go.
Love you.
Bye.